All right, how many people we have today? Uh-oh, not many, but I will start anyway. I'll put one time in the chat the class is on. Okay, so how would you recover the password? It's pretty simple here. What you do is you go in,
Mr. Zafar,
yeah.
I should just message in the group. She's having some WebEx issues.
Oh, all right. So
Mom, connected.
yeah, she's on now. Okay, good. Okay, so let's go ahead and boot in there the machine. So all these things from yesterday to all this until today, all these things you have to do it on a local machine. So make sure you download that and set it up. Okay. Mirza, you had this going right already. Mirza, Koman, Kasau. You have the local install, correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So all this would happen locally here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna restart this system here, reset, and when I have this menu again, I'm gonna do edit, go back to that line again, follow as of yesterday's rd.break and control C, right control C, okay? Uh-oh. Not control C, control X. Okay, I'm gonna do a restart again. Reset. Edit. And then I could still copy it from here, right? Okay, same menu. Then push Control X. Actually, so I'm gonna go down to the line here. Let me close this. And I'm gonna say rd.break. And I'm gonna do Control X. So the system, it's not gonna go into the normal booting process. So it goes in here and it will give you this option here. After that, all this thing is same. Mount -O. Okay, type this command here, mount -o remount, RW stands for read write sysroot. Okay, so in this system, where we'll take a look in when the boot process happens in a minute here, but when you type sysroot, this is a system root. It loads into the read-only mode. So now we are making it into read-write mode. Okay, and now chroot means change root, and now we are changing the root file system to sysroot. Okay, now you have some commands here, so you should be able to do clear. So clear worked here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type who am I. Okay, what does it say here? Who is logged in here?
Root.
Yeah. Did you notice something? What one thing you didn't have to do here? What was that?
You didn't have to do the sudo?
You almost there. Yeah, we didn't have to do the sudo, but also it didn't ask us for the root password either.
Yep, it didn't ask us for the password. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So this is what happens. You have full control in front of a machine. If you're standing in front of a machine or you have a VMware access, you have a full physical access. That means you could do whatever you want. So you could see the dangers if the hacker could hack into the VMware or any other virtual platform, he could do a lot of damage. What if he end up changing the root password? Is going to be a lot of headache, you know. So when you go on to a work, be very careful. Never change or share any passwords. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the command. What is the command to change the password? This is we're going back to the administration part. When we go back here, what is the command to change the password? Password. If you're root, if you're changing for something else, you give the password and terminator. But if you're changing your own password, what do? You don't give that in there, anything. You just type password. If you just type password and hit enter, what will happen? It will ask you to change the password for the user you logged into. Right now we are logged in as root. So it says changing password for root user. So I'm going to give the password red hat. Enter, red hat. Enter. And it says here your command has executed. Okay, now our job is done. So what we're going to do is mount it. Then you do password and change the password. Okay, and so in this case, this part is really important here. When you're exiting, you have to type this part here, touch / auto relabel. So whatever edits you did, you have to run this. There is no way out of this for it to work. Okay, if you don't do this, what will happen is the system is not gonna keep the changes you just did. So to keep the changes, run this command. What? All right, so you type exit and get out of there. So I'm going to type touch, oh, touch / period auto relabel. Okay, if you type, if you don't type, if you type auto relabel but you type it in error, it still won't work. Okay, you have to type the exact term and you hit enter and you exit out of there and you reboot. So let me capture the screen. And you guys need any more explanation? Or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, great. Okay, now I'm gonna reboot. All right, this part it will take a little bit here, so we'll let it run. So if you're gonna go take a Red Hat certification test, you'll sit in front of a system and it will be locked. They will give you a system, and you won't. They won't give you a password. Okay. So what you're gonna do is you will restart the system and then run this through, and then that's how you gain access to the system here. So this is very important if you plan on taking the Red Hat certification. Make sure you do this. I mean, this part should be a second nature, okay? You should know this. You know, you should know, you should know, you should know. That's all I could tell. If you are planning on taking a certification. In real life, I barely use it. I used it like 2 times a month, something like that. I'm sorry, no, not 2 times a month, but 2 times a year. Come on. Okay, so now it's doing the normal reboot. Okay, so it comes up here. All you do is root, type the user root, and you type the password. There you go. I'm back in now. Okay, so this is how you crack the password for Linux environment. I would say it's going to be similar thing for any other Linux, but as long as you just learn one Linux, you should be good here. Red Hat is the most dominated Linux out there. Okay, so now the next new topic I'm starting is the um, next new topic is going to be network card configuration. Okay. Any questions here, anybody? Okay, no questions means you're good. So I'm gonna get out of here and close this. And then I'm gonna go log into my own server here. Everybody go ahead and log into your first server. Okay. So I'm into my very first server here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I want to configure the network adapter. Everybody with me? Nobody's can you guys hear me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, good. So let's talk about what is a network adapter. So I'm gonna say network adapter. So in old days, you used to have this as a network adapter, right? Inside the system, you used to plug in, but these days it's now normal now. It's virtual actually. Okay. So you see this as a Ethernet. You use the name term Ethernet adapter or network adapter interchangeably. Okay, they all means the same. So this is the adapter that goes inside the physical server here. Okay, so in virtual environment, how would it look like on virtual environment? So let me go in here. So so I'm looking at this server here, right? So give me 1 second. So this is a physical virtual machine. When I do go into machine settings and then network, over here I have 4 adapters here. 1, 2, 3, 4. What are these? These are the 4 network adapters. So these are the 4 network adapters we are using on this system here. So how do you check how many network adapters you have? So what you do is you run the command. Okay, so you run the command if config. It's a new command you guys are learning. ifconfig. Okay, and if you hit enter, you get a lot of output here, but let me grab for something. ifconfig, and then I'm going to grab for enp. Okay, so take a look here. We have enp 03, 08, ENP09 and ENP0S10. So each of these will correspond with one of these. So one is ENP01. So let me take a screenshot here. So we have 4 network adapters here. Okay, so first one is, I'm going to do this here. One.
Do you want me to read out to you the ENPs, Mr. Zafar?
Yeah. 2. This is 3. This is 4, right? So we have 4 ENP, and so the first one is ENP
0S3.
0S3. Okay, that's the first one. And the second would be 8, I think, right? So
Yes.
ESP0S8.
Yep. It's
And
8, 9, and 10.
okay, 9. UNP0S9. And then this would be 10. Okay, so this is how we have network adapters here, and that's how you will determine which network adapter is what. So I'm going to copy this and put it in the document here. Okay, so the command that filtered out is this command here. So, but if we look if config here, let me expand my window here. Okay, so you have this is the IP address you've been using here. This is the IP address of the specific adapter. Okay, and then there is a IP address for ENP0S3 is the local IP address that is not on the network. That is something built-in network adapter address here. Okay, don't worry about that. Now, if you look at
Mr. Zafar, would that be our IP or your local?
yeah, this would be my local. So what happens is when you create this virtual machine here or set up the virtual box, it does create an adapter in the system here. I'll show you where. Okay, let me go into control panel here. Oh, it's already here. Okay, so from control panel, what you do is you go into, this is unrelated to the class here, so I say won't worry about this, network and internet, and go into uh, network sharing center. Okay, and from here change adapter settings. Okay, so this is, when you go in there, normally you would have only one adapter in your home. The moment you install VirtualBox, it does create this another host only a network adapter here. Okay, so this IP, when you switch this one to host only adapter, it will be 192. Why? Because it's all configured from here automatically. But if you are really deep into it, you could go ahead and change things around a bit. So I go up here and I go into properties, and over here this adapter is acting as a network switch here. So starting one is 192.168.56.1, and if you look here, this is the starting IP here, and this one is so the last octet of the IP is going to change. So 56.1 is going to remain as a default gateway, and one is taken by the router. Just think this as a router. Okay, think this network adapter inside the system as a router, and each time you're going to create the IP addresses, it will start using that. Okay, so that's kind of off topic here, but I would say don't worry about it. That will be handled, those things will be handled by the network team. Now what we're going to do is, so what I'm going to do is well, let's focus on this here, and then I'll show you what all this means here. Okay, so let me clear the screen. So I'm going to do if config, and then I'm going to grab for enp0s3. Okay, now I have to explain you all what all these things are. Okay, so before that, let me okay. So this one is adapter 1. Give me one moment here. So you have this here, right? ENP0 S3. So this is one, adapter 1. Then this is 2. Then this is 3. Then this is 4. Okay. Alright, so when you run this, if you get like 4 adapters, that means if you get 5 adapters, then you have 5 in there. But normally you would have only 2 adapters in there. Okay, in real world scenario, you will have only 2 adapters. So let me save this, and then I'm gonna put it in the document. Okay, so now let's focus on first adapter here. So this adapter is configured, but what we want to do is we want to configure it. This is unconfigured here, just showing up as is. So we'll go ahead and start configuring this. All right, so let me clear this. Oh, before that, let me tell you what all these things are. You have a lot of information here, right? But the things you don't have to worry about is all these things here you don't have to worry about. Only the things I'm going to tell you that you have to worry about. So let me capture this here. Okay. So this part is obviously, and this part everybody knows this is an adapter name. Okay. That is an adapter name, and this is the IP address.
What does ENP stand for?
It's just how it names it. It doesn't specifically stands for.
Oh,
I would say it would say Ethernet network port 0S3, something like that. Okay, and this is you need to know about this, and you need to know about the broadcast. And let's see here, this is MAC address. Okay, so you have this here, and what? So what you have here is this one is a adapter name, and this here is the IP address. IP address of adapter, I should say. Okay, and this is a MAC address. Okay, so MAC address is a alphanumeric number which is built inside the physical hardware itself. It will never change. IP address might change, but MAC address will not change. Okay, and this is a network mask. So this is a lot more bit into networking here, so we are not worried about that. Just blindly follow what the network mask is. 99.9% of the time, network mask is going to be the same exact thing. Even in the real world environment, it's going to be 255.255.255.0. Okay, and this part is a broadcast address. So where is all this getting broadcast from? This is what it means. Okay, broadcast address, or yeah, this is going to be a broadcast address. This is it. So just remember the terms here. There is a lot more meaning to it than what I'm just showing here, but for this class, this is good enough information here. Okay, so looks good here. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna configure this here. Okay, network file. So what we're gonna do is now we're gonna go into a specific folder where this all this configuration is set, and from there we start making some changes here. Okay, so what we have is 192.168.56.122. So normally when you're building a system, it is specifically assigned. Okay, you just don't get a random number. That number is provided to you by a network team. So what happens is once you get the network team number, you go into this folder here. You go to cd/etc/sysconfig network -scripts. Okay, you go into this folder and you do ls. Okay, so by default you have this here ifcfg and then the rest of the name of the file ifcfg, then enp 0s8 and 0s9, and 10 is missing, so we're not worried about that at this moment. So we just worried about enp0s3. Okay, what are we going to do about this? So we have to vi this and make some changes here. Okay,
Question, Mr. Zafar, is 10 missing because it's not set up yet?
no, 10 is being assigned by the system. So if you do if config, where is 10? Yeah, there you go, the 10 is there.
Okay.
And so if 10 is 10, you have to configure it. What you could do is you could manually add the file in there. So most of the time you don't have to worry about it. You're just dealing with enp0s3 and s8. The reason I have the 10 here is because of this class here. I have four adapters set up and everything.
Sure.
Because you need to connect from outside the internet, right? So I have to do some special configurations here. But 90% or 99% of the time you'll be just dealing with adapter 1
0s3
and 0s8.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, good. So where are we now? Okay. So all these adapters here, 0s3, 0s8, s9 and 10, they all sit in this folder here. You do pwd and you do ls. Okay, so these are the folders you are worried about. There are a lot of other files and things are there. Even I don't know what is going on, so that's not going to stop you from working in as a Linux guy. So there are some scientific stuff in here and all that. So day to day we don't use all those things. Okay, so now So remember, this directory is where all the config files for network are. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to configure this. Configure ifcfg-enp0s3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to vi this, and then hit copy this. Let me put this in here first. And I'll hit enter here. So what you have here is you have a bunch of information here. So all we need is you probably know what IP6 is or heard about it, so we're not using it. So anything in here related to IP6, I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of this line too. And the UUID, I'm not worried about it, I don't need it. And the device and the name, I need it. On boot means if the system is going to turn on when it turns on. Okay, if this is set to no, then the system won't grab the IP address and you won't be able to get in. So you got to be careful with this. And boot protocol. Okay, so this is what you need here for a basic DHCP configuration. You need only 4 lines in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to put down in the notes here. Okay, so this is the basic information you need. And this part is using the DHCP. So this part, it will generate, this will grab the random IP address. So right now, I'm going to save and exit out of here. So right now, if you see if config enp0s3, the IP address 192.168.56.1 122. This is a random IP address. Okay, So normally this is not allowed at work. This grabs a random IP address, okay? And this is not allowed at work. Okay, so at work, a system will have, so if you have like a 500 systems, right? All of them will, you have to predetermine, you have to work with the network team and predetermine which system is going to get which IP address, okay? So you will get a list of IP address, this system will get this IP address, and that's how you're going to do it. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to set it up as a static IP address. We're going to give it a specific IP address so that we could manage it better. So on boot, yes must be on for the system to grab IP address. If it's set to no here, you're dead in water. You have to log in directly into the system and then configure it. It's going to be a big headache. Default is no. Okay, that's another problem here is default when you set up when it sees the IP address or the network configuration, default is set to no here. So you have to manually do it. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to configure static IP address. Static IP address means the IP address will never change and you have predetermined the IP address for a specific system. Static means it's not going to change. It will be hardwired in here. So right now, if you have this IP address here, it is possible that when the system reboots or something happens, it's possible that the system can lose the IP address if the system end up being rebooted. But what we're going to do is we're going to specifically make sure this IP address is assigned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to do vi if config enp0s3. And hit in here. So I'm going to make some changes here. The first one is boot protocol. What protocol you want to use? We are using DHCP, like Dynamic Host Control Protocol. I'm not going to go into detail there, but just type static here. Okay? And all this will remain same. Now we have to add 3 lines in here, okay? So the third line would be hardware address. ADDR, okay? And the second would be IP address. And the third would be net mask. So here we have to grab the hardware address. So I told you the MAC address is the hardware address. Okay? So I'm going to go back in here and I'm gonna paste the hardware address here and save and come back. And net mask is right here. It says net mask here. So this is the net mask I'm gonna grab.
Mr. Zafar, my buddy just froze. It's not letting me save and exit.
Okay.
Is anybody else experiencing that?
Mine is fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And now what we're going to do is we're going to assign the specific IP address here. So this part of the IP address will not change. And this part will change here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to assign the specific IP address. So I'm going to assign it to 150. I think everybody else could assign 150 safely because this IP address, you are on your own little internal network there.
But for me, it doesn't show anything. My VI is just plain.
Yeah, because you have to do VI and then do ls here. Are you into this directory?
Yes.
You are,
IFCFG-ENPOS3.
but you have to be in this directory here. Get out of there.
Okay.
Go there. cd etc sysconfig network script.
Mr. Zafar, what are the other two things that you copied from here? Other than the MAC address?
The net mask.
The net mask?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could type that in there, but copy the MAC address.
Yep, okay, I did that already. And then we're gonna set the IP ourselves, right? So we don't paste anything there?
Yeah. So IP address, I'm setting it to 150. You could change it to so here how it works here. So the IP addresses which are available for you. Let me open this document here. So it starts from like 192.168.56.1 up until 256. But so you have 1 and 256 are these two are reserved. Okay. So you could get any IP address between 2 to 255. So you could get any IP addresses 2 to 255. That's how many IP address you have available. You have available about 254 IP addresses you have there.
So, Mr. Zafar, once we set this IP address, will our server one IP address change to that specific one, or
Yes.
that's
It
so
will.
every time now, in order to get to server one, we would put that new IP address in?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I have information that says, oh, the network team says for that server use this IP address. Okay. Once they said use this IP address, that's it. There is no way going back. That server is gonna have that IP address until that server is no more.
Can you use the same one as you?
Yeah. In fact, use the random ones just so you know Well, you could, you know what, use this one, then we'll go back and change it again, change around and again. That way
Okay.
we'll see if you will see how we could randomly change the IP address or
Okay.
physically assign it. So I'm going to save and exit out of here. All right, let me go back in here. Let me copy this. So this part I have to explain actually. So over here static means the IP will not change.
How do I
Static
go to that address where you are?
will not change.
I'm still at root Aisha.
Yeah. So go ahead and type cd space forward slash etc, then forward slash sysconfig forward slash network hyphen script. Okay, and hit enter. Make sure you use the tab key for it to autofill it for you. Okay, especially the last one, network hyphen scripts. And hit enter. Let me know when you're there.
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, do ls there.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a bunch of information, but zero in here. IFCFG ENP0S3. Do you see that?
Which one is it?
Right here. When you do ls,
Uh-huh.
look on the output on the left side here, top left.
Okay.
Do you have it or no?
Yes.
Okay,
IFCFG ENPOS3.
yeah. So copy that and then do VI and then right click and hit enter. Do you see that in there?
Yes, I'm doing. Yes, I'm there.
Okay. So only information you need inside there is this.
I still don't see anything in my VI.
Okay, what is your IP? What is your server IP?
This is 10.1.10.9.
Okay. Okay, so you what you have to do is you do VI and then copy this and right click and paste it and hit enter. So I see you have everything in there.
Yes. Oh, you. You have the. I don't have anything like that.
No,
I just.
I'm pretty sure you're in the wrong place. So quit that. Okay, do this here. Do VI, then give a space and copy it. Get out of there and copy the exactly the way it is. And hit an enter. I'm pretty sure you. The ENP0 is not O, it's 0S3.
Oh, it's 0. I did O. I think that's.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mr. Zafar, how come in the VI editor, the numlock doesn't work, like the numeric keypad?
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yep, that is true.
There's no way to enable that?
I never really tried it. Whenever I go into, subconsciously, I never use that.
Okay.
Even at my
Because I
work,
used
doesn't
it
work.
and it gave me like a bunch of like weird errors.
Yeah, I just kind of stay away from it. So if you could,
Yeah.
then that's nice.
Yep.
Are you there now? Aisha, you all caught up?
I'm doing it still.
Professor,
Yeah, Kuman.
yeah, so I have a question. So, should I keep the same IP address or just change it?
Yeah, skip it. Do assign it like 175 or something random.
Like another IP address, right?
Yeah, but
Okay,
that part
thanks.
is it. Everybody should have the same part here, right? Okay, keep this part the same exact thing. Okay, only
Okay,
change the end one. So you have up to between 2 and 254.
okay, mine here is 120, so I have to change it
You
before
change it to something
1.
else.
Okay, thanks, sir.
So I put mine as a 150. I'm gonna save and exit out of there, and I'm gonna clear this, and then I'm gonna restart the network. So the command to restart the network is systemctl restart network. That's it, and hit enter. And it might take a few minutes, and it will come back up. Okay, it did come back up. Oops, not VI.
Yes, I'm there.
There you go. My IP address has changed to 150 now. Okay, you're there, right?
Yes, I'm there. So am I supposed to delete what we don't need and then keep only the 5?
Yeah, so all you need is I'm going to put it in the WebEx chat what you need and what you don't need. That way you
So I don't
are.
need to do it right now.
Hmm?
I do not need to do it right now.
Oh, you don't want to do now? Okay, yeah.
I can do it, but then if you want me to do it now?
Yeah, if you are right there, just go ahead and do it. But make sure you change the. You could literally keep everything here, but make sure you have the correct network hardware address. You know how to look up the hardware address, right? Let me just send this to you in the chat. So when you do if config,
Mm-hmm.
This is the hardware address. ETHER. This is the hardware address. Okay, just change that one. Okay,
Okay.
rest of the stuff put that in there. Delete everything and put that in there. So while that is happening here, my did change to 150 here, right? So here static IP, it will not change. Static will not change here. And this is the device name. Okay, when you have on boot, yes. Okay, and hardware address is, this is the MAC address. And this is the assigned IP. And this is the net mask, which is default. Okay, that's clear enough.
So one more thing, which number are we changing in the IP address?
For now, just put that in there. Did you get it in the chat?
Oh, in the chat. I mean.
Just copy and paste it in there, but change the hardware address.
Did you send on WhatsApp?
No, WebEx chat.
Okay, okay.
Make sure you're just copying what I'm showing here. Start from type Ethernet and all that. Only this part. Might as well, I'll give you the hardware address while I'm in here in your system. So wherever that hardware address is, put this in there, okay?
Okay, thank you.
So right now yours is 131, so set it to 150 or whatever. So now you have noticed now that it is successfully has assigned to 150. Alright, just for the demo purpose, I'm going to change it to 175 and see what happens. I'm going to restart the network. Systemctl restart network. And there you go. Now it's set to 175. Any questions, Mirza, Koman, anybody?
Nope, I'm good.
I'm good, sir.
All right, good. So let's take a 15-minute break and then we'll start at 12:05 Central.